Alright, boys and girls, what's up? Bob here. Welcome to my full guide for learning Cell in Dragon Ball FighterZ. This character is my baby. More so than Gogeta. Besides, more so than Vegeta, actually. This character, God. He was on my first team when I first picked up FighterZ. Then I had him in another team when I had him with Adult Gohan and Trunks. And now I picked him up again because I want an actual competitive team with characters I like. That's why I have, you know, these two fucknuts on my team. Go figure. Oh, I didn't even have my thing on. So, that's why I have assembled a pantheon of notes for this and why I wanted to go everything with you today, because it's my intention that by the end of this video, or, you know, in the many timestamps I'm going to have down below, you're probably going to have a decent to strong understanding of how to use Cell. Now, of course, a quick disclaimer, I'm not the best Cell player out there. Obviously, I haven't even made a decent dent into state level tournaments yet, but I've also researched the fuck out of this character. I just need to play more. So, if you want better players, there's links down in the description. Players like dekillsage and Kuwanger have done similar stuff with Cell, but there's not as many dedicated Cell players out there anymore. A lot of people who play Cell, outside of Fenrich, obviously, usually just pick him up like casually. So, like, I don't see as many dedicated players for him out there, but I'm hoping I can give you some insight, because boy, this is a legacy character. Oh yeah, in usual traditional fashion as well, I gotta share the fact that, hey, there's this giant-ass Google Doc that is essentially my script, where I go over everything. So if you want this is gonna be in the description down below as well. I'm gonna leave it and link it public. This is essentially all my bullet points. If you want access to it, then feel free to. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get this bitch going. Just brace yourself. Okay, so as usual, we're going to start with the pros and cons of Cell. Now, Cell is of course a relic of Season 1, so as a result, there's a lot of like weirdness to his toolkit. There's a lot of overbalancing. There's nothing like completely brain dead. So first, of course, pro of this character, he's essentially like a jack of all trades. What I mean by that is, obviously, he has a beam, he has a low 2L, he has multiple anti-airs. He's got 2H, he's got the flips, which, as you can see, is immune to jump attacks. A medium version, a heavy version is immune to jump attacks. He's got an upward beam, and he's got several mix-up options. Like, okay, obviously, he's got up to 3 lows in one combo. Let me have him stop doing this. So yeah, you can have up to 3 lows in a single combo. He has this old flip mix-up. He's got that. He's got, of course, very easy high-low mix-ups. He's got actually a lot of stuff in this regard in general. Also, you know, command grab that he'll sometimes sleep on. Don't forget he has this but yeah, he's got mix-ups. Really just a lot of tools that he can use to forward his game plan. He's also just a very solid point character and not a terrible mid. Well, as in he's primarily, I think, best used as a point character in that he benefits a lot from having assist behind him thanks to shit like this. I'm pretty sure this is close to gapless. If not, I'll have to tighten it a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure this right here is gapless. So he's got that. His assist also allows him to be a theoretically decent mid. Like, he has roughly the same assist as UIB, which is not inherently a bad thing whatsoever. His UI is a little bit faster, but you can use Cell as both. Mid isn't too bad for him because he can kind of meter dump with, you know, shit like this. Sometimes you want to go for EX flips, you know, just stuff like that. He's not going to shit out damage like Broly on mid, but he's still pretty good regardless. One other good pro of him, obviously, you might be familiar with this if you've been following this game for any length of time. He has one of the easiest wall loops in the entire game. Like, if you look at my command history, I'm just matching out light, and it's pretty much just working. I think you can add one more rep in here, but I haven't tried adding it to my arsenal just yet. But yeah, he's got one of the easiest wall loops in the game. It's pretty nice. He's also got actually really freaking good block strings as well. Like, for example, he's got really good stagger pressure, really good mix-up tools. Like 2M is by itself is really good. Like, this isn't too shabby, I would say. That's a pretty good pressure tool by itself, as well as reflect proof tools as well. So, you know, you got that going for you. And going hand in hand with that, the next bullet point is that the button reach just makes him almost reflect proof. to showcase this. Yeah, as you can see, you had to reflect twice there in order for that to actually to get him off of you there. As well as this, that's really good. I actually pressed 6M there, but you know what I mean. And last but not least, his neutral is also pretty decent. Like, I would say it's not amazing. It's not like Blue Gogeta's neutral. It's not Broly's neutral, obviously. Nothing is really that good. I mean, Gotank's neutral. But his neutral is okay. He's got a forward-facing beam, an upward-facing beam. It's got 2M that reaches, I think, round start? Yeah, well, it reaches round start pure. It comes close to hitting character, like character knockout round start, I'm pretty sure. So that's pretty good. Jump Lie is a good neutral tool we'll go over later. 214X, aka these moves are really good neutral tools because they catch super dashes and a lot of other jumping attacks. The beam, obviously, and just, you know, so on. Or, namely, this tool is really solid. If you don't get reflective, you know, details. Okay, but obviously with that, we have not a huge amount of cons, but he's definitely held back by some stuff. Like, these are things that I find consistently bother me a little bit when I'm trying to play him online. Like, they're not game breakers, but it's like, yeah, I keep this in mind. Like, Cell is still, like, not just outside of the top tiers, but he's a little bit below it. Like, he's still got the skeleton of a really strong character, but the 3 years since the game was launched has not done him too many favors. But we'll move on with that. So, some buttons can be a little bit stumpy. 5L, namely, 2L. In fact, 2L frequently is actually a bit of a problem child for me, because if I set him to guard all, which I currently do, like, that just narrowly, 2L just narrowly reaches there. I've had a lot of instances where, yeah, like that. If you just tip range, jump medium, 2L can whiff. So that's a bit rough. Yeah, that's why you usually don't want to go for multiple Gatling 2Ls with him. I find you want to go like 2L immediately to 5L to go for your Blockstrings, but it's whatever. If you play it correctly, it's never really a big issue. It's not like your opponent can usually readily react to a 2L whiffing. So it's not horrible, but it's whatever. Oh yeah, and 2H. You probably know the stories of Cell's horrible 2H. Look at, oh my god. Jesus Christ, this is horrible. I think this is actually worse than Vegeta's, so, bad. His assists also aren't amazing. I say that he's not a terrible mid, but you also probably don't want to immediately think about him as a mid. You probably want to go with like UI or Broly or something like that. I'll get into much more details about this later, but the assist could be better. You're usually going to want to go with the A assist. Let's just leave it at that. His supers are also a little bit on the limited side. He's got obviously energy barrier, which is air-okay. It can be done on the ground as well. The range isn't horrible. You'll seldom drop in a combo, if you ever do. Although the range can be a little bit stumpy. It's not horrible, but you could do better. And he's only got one level 3, but it's only on the ground. It gives you really good Oki in the corner, don't get me wrong, but I mean, not a lot else beyond that. Vegeta has him eclipsed in terms of usable supers, as well as obviously UI, but you know, details. Oh yeah, he's also a tall character. Obviously the days of the fuzzies are gone. Thank God. I can't believe some people want fuzzies back. Like, if my timing were better, like, that would almost be real. 0.4 Gogeta has something like this back. I'm terrified of that. But he is a taller character, meaning that you know combos are easier against him. He gets hit by more shit. It's a little bit more of a liability than a benefit, and Cell doesn't really have the jab reach like Broly to make up for it. Like, you know, if I were to play as an AI and tag in Broly, I mean, I don't have anything quite like this. I don't have the nipple press. I don't have a huge 5H. I mean, Cell does have the 2M regardless, but not my first choice. Also, the stable combos just have a weird execution barrier. Like, not outside of just obviously the wall loops, which are still really easy, but you can still drop it. But what I mean more by execution barrier is that sometimes they're just kind of weird. It has to do partly with the rolling dives. They're sometimes height dependent. Like, you'll go for like the medium roller crush ender, but you'll be a bad height depending on your vanish, so you'll probably want to go with light ender. It's finicky. Whenever I drop a combo with Cell because of my height, I'm not shocked, but it's not the worst thing ever. And last but not least, just other characters do what he does but better. Like, Gotenks is better mix, UI has better neutral in general, and better a lot of things actually. Vegeta has obviously the better assist around here. Even his B assist isn't too horrible. I mean, objectively. Just, Cell has definitely been hit by that power creep over and over. Like, that's why he's probably worse than Beerus by now, because Beerus is an amazing point character. But Cell is still usable, don't get me wrong. Like, I am absolutely a ride or die Cell player, don't get me wrong, but just, he's definitely not had the best run since he got hit by nerfs after EVO 2018, I'm pretty sure. Don't get me wrong, he's gotten continuous buffs since then, but nothing that's really put him back on the map, you know what I mean? Okay, so now it's time for the section where this is probably where it's going to get a little bit lengthy. The core moves. Now, Cell is, as I said, a jack of all trades character. He's also kind of complicated. Season 1, Rust and everything. So as a result, he's got a lot of good tools. Like, this character has, like, I mean, even if we just go to, like, his special move list, like, we got some stuff to work with here. This is not too lacking. As well as some hidden moves, obviously, with a 2M. This is going to be a bit lengthy, but it's not the worst thing ever. So, I will this down to the moves you want to be using at any given time, because he has a lot of moves you could use, but just some you want to really keep in mind. So, obviously, first 2M. 2M's a slide, very much an M Bison slide that still makes me laugh very hard when I see it. This is just straight up M Bison shit. Long range, low, medium starter, so obviously you get the medium scaling, which is really good. Fast, mage, and the range makes it pretty much reflect proof. Like, obviously I've already shown it with, you know, the prelude section, but yeah, you can't really reflect this move. Like, you're back in there, you have to double reflect against Cell a lot, and you don't usually want to, because if you double reflect by accident and you whiff, you're dead. It's just straight up. So it really puts the defensive game in Cell's favor a lot of the time. Your opponent has to take a gamble to even get you off of him, so that's really good in his book. But that being said, though, the move itself is unsafe. Like, I want to say offhand it's like a -10, -8. Okay, well, not. You probably get like jab punish, obviously, and that's not the worst punish ever. But you do want to block confirm this or hit confirm. Usually hit confirm. That's what you want to go for. It also whips pretty hard. Like, obviously the range is really good, but if you its range is not as much as you think it'd be. Like, look at that. My feet are like right inside of Broly, and it's still kind of whiffing. So that's not ideal. Like, it'll hit from a few character spaces away, but like, this bothers me. Like, it's, yeah. Next moves are obviously the beams. Like, this really kind of goes without saying, if you have a beam, you should really be utilizing it. Ground beam is, you usually don't want to go for the ground beam, because you usually go for the ground beam if your opponent's shooting Ki Blasts and you know they're going to just run towards you. It's really the jump beam you want to go with because of the aggressive angle. If you do this low enough to the ground, it covers almost the full screen, and as well as having a hitbox that like really snipes out super dashes out of the air, like cleanly. It also just tied together his whole kit like just amazingly. Like, Cell by himself is still decent with his buttons, but with this he has a full screen presence that's always really good. It jails on Vanish if you do it early enough, and yeah. The only thing that sucks about this though is that it does not like Goku where it's got a good upwards angle. Like, this version is extremely steep. Like, there's rare instances where you can react with this and get away with it. I think a few patches ago, like, it was adjusted so that way the upwards version recovers a lot faster, but not like it matters really. If you're punishing jump-ins this steep, you're gonna go with this generally, or 2H. So the upwards angle is kind of whatever. Okay, so now for a fairly innocuous one, Jump S, or sorry, not Jump S, Jump Light. Jump Light, this move seems pretty unassuming, but this is a fucking meaty hitbox, dude. Fast, the stuff super dashes very easily, actually. Like, let me show this, actually. We just have an assist happen. Oh, look, I didn't even really have to time that too hard. Yeah, it's high dependency on the rolling hammer. You know it. By the way, that's called rolling crush. I call it rolling hammer because of habit from Tenkaichi 3. So you know, it's whatever. But yeah, no, this move is really good. See, you don't really have like the timing for this one is roughly equivalent to like Super Broly's jump light, and if you're familiar with that, that's a good fucking hitbox right there. You can kind of just auto time. The confirm is also super easy. Literally, all you have to do is just jump light, 2H. That's all you gotta do. It sometimes requires a little bit of telegraphing, and especially hard when it's online. But this is a really strong anti-super dash option. It's also got a good angle. Like, it's pretty much straight in front of him, but the hitbox is low enough to use like a jump-in option. So that's good. And you can just kind of mash it out too. Like, if you do it, if you time your jumps well enough, like, look at this. 1, 2. 1, double, and a double jump. You can get 3 out in like one sequence. I think you can go to like 4. So yeah, if your opponent is jumping at you or super dashing, you can generally snipe him out of the sky. This does require practice though in order to get the hit confirms down, as well as just reacting to super dashes in general. That's like the first step. But then knowing your opponent's gonna do them and then like timing it with the 2H, that can be tough. Hell, I can't even do this full yet. I'm getting better at this, but this still requires some work. Like, it really does. Otherwise, you generally want to go with this or go with beams to punish super dashes, generally speaking. But yeah. Next option or next core move of his is definitely his jump medium. A jump medium is generally like your best approaching tool from this guy. Good overhead option. It's got big range than you might think actually. Like, I remember there's a patch a year or two ago that actually made this range bigger. It might have been, actually no, it might have been nerfed at one point in time, but this is still kind of big. Like, nowhere of a lie, this is actually not too shabby. Like, this is a really fast approaching tool. It's also your primary cross-up option. Like, you know, just like get over a cell. God damn it. Like, look at that. As long as your timing is roughly there, you should get this consistently. I just can't do it because I'm bad at. I'm still kind of bad at doing cross-ups. But yeah, this is generally your best tool for that. Next up is 4mm. Otherwise, it can also be done with, like, I think just stand medium and then doing back medium. But you can also just mash this out with just pressing 4mm, like just literally mashing it. This is really good because it is a great stagger tool pressure. What you can do is, I'll get into more detail about this later, but like your opponent's gonna be frequently scared about the second hit, so you can just kind of just like keep going for the first hit and resetting your block strings. And that's really strong because you can just throw in your DR at any point to mix up, so that's really good. We'll get in way more in stagger pressure later, but just know that that's a good option, and it's kind of hard to beat also, because both hits are safe. Look at this, -5, -5, it's really good. Okay, and last up is the 214X series, you know, light, medium, and heavy. You might be familiar with these because this is where the infamous TODs come from, as well as just a lot of staple stuff in general. So let's just go over it. So first of all of these are obviously head invul, immune to jump attacks, immune to jump attacks, immune to jump attacks, and it's being super fucking fast. So first of all, you have that light version pops up in front of you, or in front of the opponent. Mini version pops up in the back of the opponent. If you use a low block stun assist, like Trunks' A assist, you can make this into a true left-right by negating the block stun. But I don't think that's required. But it does mean that Trunks' A assist does have more use than you would think. The heavy version though, now, I don't remember if this has always been the case. I'm still fairly new to actually trying so hard. But 214H also does this now. It's very similar to Goku's, or Blue Goku's, Jump 214H. That's really dope. You can do this. You can force a high-low if you have an assist behind you. Like, obviously this. I can go low. I can also go high then low. If my timing didn't suck. Again, my timing didn't suck. I'm a little cold from this right now. So now we got just various good moves in general. In no particular order, 6H. 6H is additional low. They can put a block strings and it's safe. It's really good. It also allows you to turn your block strings to having a lot of lows. So, you know, your opponent can't just auto block. As in, like, as soon as you do like the 2M, they can usually just stand guard and they'll be fine. So now you gotta keep guard, you gotta keep crouching, and that makes it stronger. So, you know, pretty good. 2S can be paired with a beam for a really good approach if you don't actually get this command shortcut out. You can do this to make a free approach. It's not that bad. It also can be plus on block in some scenarios, like this. It's a little finicky. I think it works better against Broly because of his tallness. Or not. Oh, well, kind of. +2. It's not something that you would regularly use, but it is something to back pocket, so that's not too bad. You do have to quickly reflect or super dash this in order to beat it, though. 5L can be used to bait reflect punishes, obviously because of the second hit. Second hit can have its length adjusted by pressing forward or back. I'll talk more about that a little bit later, but it's a neat tool. Jump S into beam is also pretty good. Probably because if you try to super dash to beat the jump S, you can snipe him with this. It's also kind of forces a jail, so that's not too bad. This is kind of more of a niche thing. I picked this up from dekillsage, so it's kind of a gimmicky thing, but you can do it. Which one? Oh yeah, 236H can steal corner after a level 3 knockdown. Let's just show that. Yep. Look at that. I just did, I can do over 5K just with a very... Not a lot of people know about the corner steal trick. It's really nice. I've gotten a lot of people online using this off of the level 3s. So it's really, really sick. And last but not least, Jump 236M is just, it's a really good combo ender because of sliding knockdown afterwards. It's also a decent neutral tool as well. This actually does beat Super Dash. You wouldn't believe that, but nah, dude, if you actually have him Super Dash, you can be beaten. A little hard to do, and not something you can probably do on reaction. But hey, it's something, I guess. that hit just tied. That's something else. Yeah, you're not gonna want to do it on reaction, or I don't think you could do it on reaction. But also, it's a good positioning tool if you want to escape corner. It's something. You should probably do this, but hey, it's an option, I guess. Alright boys, time for neutral, and this is where things are going to get a little bit lengthy, because Cell's neutral is not as simple one and done as, you know, obviously Broly 5S. It's not nearly as easy as that. It requires a little bit of forethought, and it requires a few more tools to make really good. So yeah. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I selected the other team as it is, that's what an actually good Cell team would look like, involving Cell point, Broly mid, and Goku early on back. As opposed to my team, where it's basically a fan versus team, but I decided to add UI because I don't like GT Goku. So, you know, there's that. I also don't like Bardock either, so I'm like, let's go with the one that's been nerfed. Anyway, first of all, let's just start this all off with just the beam. The beam is, you know, it's fairly standard, controls the corridor, it's way pressuring from full screen while his other buttons threaten from mid screen. Air has a shallow angle that goes full screen, pressuring both air and the ground, as in, depending on how high you do this will depend if you can control full screen. It really just allows them to, oh yeah, also, because of the way this works, you can't super dash against this version. Whereas the ground version, if your opponent jumps upwards, they can SD against you. So that's one of the big benefits of this. You can't SD against this because of the downwards beam. So that's good. This one is literally covers all your lanes. So yeah, these in tandem with, you know, the Head Invulnerable 214X series, Jump Light, this move, it really just makes it so that you can't pressure Cell with super dashes too easily, and you have to work around that to a certain capacity. Hell, I catch my mentor Serbi a lot with this mix-up because it's not so cut and dry to just approach Cell with like willy-nilly. A good Cell player will cover spaces a lot. That said though, if you're fighting a Cell player that's lower than God of Destruction, you might be able to get away with some shit. So of course now we got 2S. 2S is, you know, it approaches from full screen, it's plus on block. However, because of his rapid approaching, paired behind a beam, and you're gonna be in, and you're gonna have a good time. And then you're pretty much good to go. And then your opponent has to deal with the stagger pressure, and they're not gonna have a fun time. Yeah, essentially, as long as you have a beam behind Cell when you press this button, you're probably going to want to call the assist first before you do it, but depending on the assist, like maybe behind Broly's assist or something, the assist namely, yeah, you can win neutral just with that alone. That's really good. You should want to be careful because the opponent's going to be jumping a lot, so if you're just sitting on the ground, then yeah, do this and you're basically fine. Of course, 2M, it's the same move as it has been for the last 3 years. It's like one of the better mid-screen options. People fear this move with good regard. It is one of the better 2Ms in the game. It's not like your adult Gohan. It's not like a few other notorious 2Ms, like, you know, Base Goku over there, but it is insane 2M. But it's still really good. Like, don't sleep on his move at all. Of course, just be very wary because it whips hard and it's unsafe. So you gotta have an approaching game plan with this behind you. Jump Light, obviously it's super easy to confirm this. As I've already shown off, it's really easy to confirm this into a punish. That says I dropped that, damn it. I should be able to get that. There it is. Just requires different timing. And look at that, I just took off 3,300 for like less than a bar. Nice. Obviously, of course, there's the classic kick flips. These will also beat super dashes cleanly. Of course, if you're a mad lad and you're able to get the sparking touch of death combos, then all the better for you. I can't quite do it, so if you can go for it, then by all means, but yeah. Oh yeah, disclaimer. I suck at the fucking TODs. So I can link to people who can do the TODs in the description down below, but I am terrible at doing the 2S jump cancel loops, so, you know, sorry about that. Also, the medium version gets a wall bounce if Cell's backs to it. Like, let me actually... Like, no shit, this is really good. it's like, this is also one of the reasons why the opponent doesn't really want to doesn't want to air dash against Cell when his back is to the corner, because of this shit. Yeah, you can get an easy conversion off that if your spacing is better than mine. Yeah, there we go. Might not get a smash after this though. Oops, oh, I did get a smash after it, nice. 5k too, I didn't even intend to do that much damage, my god. It's also really good because, you know, with the EX... Oops, I'm getting different versions. With this, you can also escape corner, which is pretty good. Medium version covers more distance than light, and heavy version is just super fucking fast, and you're immediately out of there. If you chicken block and you're up in the air and you're safe, you can just do this to get the fuck out of the corner. So, pretty good. Much better than gambling with the vanish, so that's not too bad. Also, you know, cover your escape with a beam, and you're generally gonna be fine. Oh yeah. So now let's go into some couple more niche options. Basically, jump 2M. So this is extremely gimmicky, but you can catch people with this at times. You're only gonna want to keep this like maybe 2% of your brain power. Jump 2M is a teleport. It's free. It's also only -3. Oh jeez, that's loud. It also crosses up, so you're gonna want to keep that in mind. So if you put, I don't know, if you do like a beam and then do this, you can get in. It's a little bit slower, but this is a full screen tracking move. I have done a lot of dumb shit with using this move to escape weird scenarios. Cell is completely gone when he uses this move, so it's really good. There's not like a time lag like with Blue Goku. When Cell is gone, he is gone, so that's good. But yeah, this is like the easiest move to 2H in the game, so you don't want to use this as an approaching tool necessarily. I would use this more as a defensive escape tool, kind of, but it is an option. And other various buttons with good range is, you know, 5M. It's got decent range for 5M. 5H has some good range. I don't find a lot of good use for this, but if you hold it, you can cause pushback. I don't have a lot of good uses for this offhand, but I know there are some to take advantage of that with. Like, you know, opponent goes for a jab punch, you can just go for this. It's kind of niche. I don't use that, but it is there. And 5LL, or at least like the second hit. You can't backdash still. These buttons can generally threaten from more than the character space away. 5M, because it's really fast, and you got the additional move after it. 5LL can approach, that's really good. But I wouldn't go for this necessarily out of fear of, you know, accidentally getting a command grab whiff. So, you know, sucks, but whatever. I wouldn't necessarily call this a neutral tool per se, but jumping 236 L and M, I've shown already that these do beat Super Dash, and they do cover a good amount of the screen. Now, the heavy version also goes straight down. This has a lot of speed. If you need a quick way to either, like, just cover distance to avoid, like, I don't know, Piccolo orbs or something else weird, I mean, this is an option. This will beat some stuff. I'm not sure if it beats Space Vegeta's rocket kicks, but hey, it does exist, so no. Have at it. Also, they're safe on block. Medium version is -2. No, it's not too bad. Okay, and contrary to what you'd think, I need to put a dishonorable mention. The fucking 2H. Like, it shouldn't be shocking that this is in here. God, the 2H, it's horrible. If your opponent is anything more than... Let me see if I can get my mouse on screen. No, I can't. Okay. Okay, so anything... If a character super dashes anywhere above, like, Cell's head up there, or, like, anything, like, more angled than, like, where his kick is, they're gonna go behind him. I have had so many scenarios where the 2H, like, the orb that signifies that I just beat an aerial attack happens, but nothing fucking goes through. So it's just like, yeah, this is bad. Terrible horizontal reach, small, not even great vertical reach. It's pretty much, you only use this as a super dash punish, like raw, if you're not gonna go for the flips. Which, if you're better with Cell, you should probably go for the flips, but I mean, like, yeah. Also, your combos off of this aren't even that good. You need to actually burn meter with the 2H combos to get some good damage. Yeah, even then I burnt my smash, so I mean, not even that really good, but yeah. Okay, holy shit, it's time to talk about Cell's mix-ups. This is probably going to be a good bulk of the video because Cell has a lot of mix-ups. First of all, I'm going to cut a link in our video to Kuwanger's really good Cell mix-up guide. It's insane how vague you can get with him if your execution is high enough and you have the right assist behind you. My assist could be better. I have I have UIB behind me, which gives good shit behind you. 30 frames, and then obviously Vegeta A is like 52 if they choose not to reflect or super dash against you, so that's good. But you're gonna want someone like Bardock B or some other characters behind you. I'm gonna talk more about that in the synergy guide, or the synergy section of this guide. Sorry about that, but anyway, mix-ups. So Cell has way more than enough ways of opening someone up. I've already showcased a good amount of them. He's got a good amount. So let's start basic. Let's just go high-low instant air dash. You're gonna want to go for a medium as your high option and jump light for your Gatling tool. You can go up to 3 high options if your height is good enough. Like, let me try this against Broly. He'll probably have, yeah, like against Broly you have 3 Gatlings. That's really good. 3 Gatlings though. You have 1 medium and 2 Gatling lights. That's really good. And then 2L it's got decent range. Depending on spacing, it can whiff though, as I already showcased. It's kind of not great sometimes, but generally you're gonna want to go for this. Yeah. However, be careful depending on how far your fast speed is, because you can accidentally fuck this up. But that's just immediately like one layer. Also, you can't really fuzzy guard this. It's like, depending on how airtight you are with this, this is kind of very unreactable. Holy shit, yeah. Is you gonna go for 2 overheads and then 2 lights, or is you go for the 3 overheads and 2 lights, or I don't know, just 1 overhead into light, or 2 lows. Sorry, I said lights instead of lows, whatever. 2 is go for closing the distance if you are pushed too far out by the first 2L by mistake, which is kind of hard to. The more you play Cell, the more you'll know, like, when you're in a scenario where your 2L is gonna whiff. So that's good. It'll immediately suction you back in, so that's really nice. So like this would probably be like your optimal full block string. Boom, 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 boom. That's a lot to block right there, and you have to block right every time. So yeah. But again, this is Broly specific. Against even Cell or Goku, you can still go for like the 2 overheads into the 2 lights. You still gotta block all this. Oh, remember. Oop, that's not what I wanted you to remember. There we go. 3rd light. Or, sorry, say it again. 3rd low. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, that's your basic shit. Now let's get to block strings. Oh boy. It's gonna be fun. So, your basic block string, that's gapless. That's gapless. That's your, or rather, this is your basic blockless, or blockless, no, gapless block string. No bells or whistles, nothing additional of Cell. This is just your basic gapless block string. Now, we're gonna get fucking fancy. So, 6H can obviously be used after 2M to present a 3rd low into the equation. So that's pretty good as well. Also, notice the amount of pushback we're getting towards the wall. Keep that in mind. Now, obviously, also 5M has the extension in 4M, so that's really good. So look through this. We already got some good shit. Remember, you the second hit can be reflected, but we're gonna get into reflect baiting in a moment. First of all, it's very hard to react to. It's very hard to react to the fact that he's going to do the second one because there's such a delay going into it. So your opponent is probably going to automatically reflect. And let me show you what happens when they do and they fuck up. Oh, look, you died. Or at least you can if the Cell player has the execution for it and you don't drop it because you're making a guy and talking. So, you know, details. So yeah, because of that, if they... This is the bad case scenario for them. They drop it and they take, and depending on the scenario, that's bad news. So usually the good player will probably just sit there and just either take the risk just the 4M coming out, or let you just reset. Or they'll probably try to double reflect you, in which case you can read that too, so yeah. Now, if you do get 4M reflected, remember that the 2M will put you right back in place. So you usually want that to be your reaction. I keep going for that by mistake. Sorry, it's a habit of mine. Yeah, that just puts you right back in. They have to double reflect in order for this to be a real get off me string. Because after this, if they do double reflect, then cool. But if they double reflect and I don't like go for the finish, then there is still a sitting duck. So you know, that's, what is that, like a 25% chance they have to get right in order to actually succeed in defense against you. That's rough, man. That's fucking rough. Now, of course, they can level 3, but if they have to do that, you're probably winning. As in, you're probably really getting under their skin at that point in time. So yeah, in essence, oh wait, I've already done that before. Well, I'll just recite because it's in my notes. But yeah, this is 4 lows. Yeah, 4 lows. This is gonna get better by extension. You can go for it earlier. And remember, of course, always you can turn into a real combo if you use an assist behind you. The only thing that sucks though is if you use a slower assist. Like, I think your opponent could probably fuzzy guard it because you see my 2 assists behind me right now are kind of slower. UI is 40, Vegeta is 43. Theoretically, they could probably fuzzy guard or auto guard high if they see my assist come out because I had to time it earlier. But I mean, that's fringe. How many players am I gonna go up against that really know how to do it? Seriously. 5S can also be used to scare your opponent into pressing buttons. For example, that's how much is that? -4. Yeah, I mean, if you rapid fire it, they can reflect it, but the range is decent. Even though this is pointed at their fucking feet, this is still not bad range. Oh wow, it actually changed the frame data to -2. Is that useless for anything? Fuck if I know, but hey, it's neat to know, I guess. So now, a long block string that has a lot of reflect points and a lot of gaps, but your opponent should not just do anything, looks like this. Yeah. Look at that. That was... I just built half a meter for that. Dude. Yeah, and all that's safe. Well, I mean, the ender is safe anyway. We'll talk about the enders in a moment, but all that, yeah, that's half a bar just built for myself. I gave the opponent a quarter of a bar, but I mean, dude, that's... Yeah, they really gotta gamble. If they're taking this and not even doing reflect, you're probably in their head by now. So now stagger points. 2L is -3, 5L is -3, 6H is -5, 5S, all hits are -4, or I guess if you're depending on your range, probably -2, probably -1 at full or just 0 from over here, +1. This isn't gonna matter for anything though because you're over here. What the hell are you gonna do? Yeah, nothing's gonna matter from over there. So obviously these are important because these are points that are safe enough. You can just keep going. You're safe. So that means your opponent can't jab punish you. They're gonna be hesitant to obviously press the button against you because what if you keep going with the block string? So for example, let us have our cell opponent here counterattack. So yeah, that's 4M turns into a frame trap. That's pretty good. All you gotta do is just let up the gas a little bit, and all of a sudden you can turn this into a frame trap. So because of these frame traps, your opponent, and also the fact that if they try to reflect, and you stop and you're able to react to the reflect, you're gonna win. So that's pretty good. This is why stagger pressure is so important in this game because you can dictate the flow of the match heavily in your favor. You can get into your opponent's head. Hey, yeah, I'm giving you this bait, but you sure you want to take that risk, buddy? It's yeah, you can so easily just continue with your block strings. Now, of course, 4M, both hits are -5. Reflecting 4M means you can cancel the 2M, bringing you back, etc., etc. I brought this up before, but it's in my script, so whatever. But yeah, 4MM is probably the golden child of this alone because of the fact that because of the double reflect, and not a lot of people are gonna know this. This means this alone is your big stagger pressure tool alone. That's really good. Okay, we're not done yet. Time for ender mixes. Alright, let's start easy and work our way upwards. So let's say you've gotten your opponent to the corner, or let's say that you have done multiple large block strings and you staggered them a bunch, and now you're gonna end and try to go for mix-up. So what do you do? So 2, 3, 6, M and L and M are both safe. Ending in an overhead. You have to block the standing, but just the final hit. This elbow part is a pure overhead. You have to block the standing. I mean, it's not... If you see him starting... If you sell turn to a ball, you should probably start standing against him anyway. I'm pretty sure that this version doesn't have a gap in it if you do something going into it. So it's kind of a whatever thing. I don't know where to put this in my notes, but there was also an adjustment at some point that made so you can adjust the how 236M behaves. You can go hold forward, make it go farther. You can cap it early. You can hold back to make it go short. I assume you probably want this for reflect pressure or something. I mean, you could maybe use this as an approaching tool, but I wouldn't. I don't know. It's really up to you how you want to use that. Now, of course, I'll go back. Light and medium are both safe. Medium does steal corner, but it doesn't enforce a true mix. They're also both pretty easy to guard cancel. But, again, if you have a low hit some assist behind you, then it's kind of a real mix-up. But, I mean, it's a free mix-up. You can't really say no to it. It's, well, not really free mix-up, but, like, it's still a decent ender. If you want to just keep things safe, it's whatever. Now, the mix comes with this shit. Because remember, up and above. Now, I've heard from Kuwanger that apparently you want a block stunning assist of at least 30 frames in order to make this into a true gapless block string. And because if it's not gapless, then basically a lot of your shit's not true. Like, he can reflect my medium, so it's not a real thing anymore. If he does it too early, then my low does work better, but also negates my cross-up attempts. Sort of. But you can also just hold there and just wait for things to happen. You can go for a reversal, you know, whatever. However, with the appropriate assist behind me, my timing for this, by the way, is to what I do for this timing is 6H, and then like I go for the course, I go back, and I literally press assist and heavy at the exact same time. That's how I time this for with UIB. It's fairly similar for Vegeta, but I time it more so that way the 6H is pressed concurrently with assist. So that's how I distinguish them. If anyone needs help with those. Other than that, like, it's generally pretty easy with like faster assists that have higher blocks on, like Yamcha, Adult Gohan B, Bardock B, GTB, you know, all those. But yeah, as long as you have that, Cell is essentially able to enforce a pretty good high-low left-right game. And don't forget that, like, you can also just do Dragon Rush. Land do Dragon Rush. I don't know. Land do a single light into it. Like, it really is all in your favor. Like, what do you want to do? Yeah, you usually want the block stun assist, though, because of the air dash to make this a real thing, though. But yeah, this whole thing alone right here is essentially why you want at least one assist behind Cell and why he's not really good as an anchor. I've seen people run Cell anchor. I question, like, what is wrong with them. Not necessarily because, like, not necessarily out of, like, they might not know about that fact, but, like, you really want to assist behind him in order to do that. Oh yeah, I should also mention that this does steal corner. I should probably want to mention that because, you know, if you're back to the corner, you're probably just gonna hold back because, like, you know, what the hell can they do if you're behind me? Well, they can do that. So yeah, it also negates the pushback of, you know, the move itself. So even better, triple overhead, awesome. Now, at some point in time, I don't remember when. I think it might have been like season 1 or season 2. You know, of course, I go forward heavy did get buffed to side switch and it steals corners. So that's like one of the big scary things about Cell's kit is that you're not safe against him if you're back into the corner. So yeah. Okay, and now we're gonna talk about level 3 Oki. Yes, look at this. So level 3 Oki is horrifying, to say the least. Cell might actually put forward like the scariest post beam Oki in the game after level 3, outside of like, actually, well, I mean, currently probably Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but I think Cell might have the best post wake up Oki in the corner, maybe. I could be wrong about that, but I think that might be the case. Off of beam specifically, anyway. So obviously corner, beam, there's no pushback. You do level 3 Oki, or you do level 3. Opponent is put in a hard knockdown state right in front of you. They cannot up tech, they cannot down tech, they cannot vanish out of this. They have to sit there, stand up, and then guess what you're gonna do. So that's why it's really powerful. And only after they're fully recovered are they able to do, you know, options. For example, like if I were to set them to reflect here, obviously, Look how long it takes for him to reflect. Standing up completely, and of course you can't snuff that, so oof, yeah, that's fun. So, what options are present to us? Well, all high-low options are present. Oh yeah, the opponent needs to hesitate using guard cancel here because of, you know, obviously Cell's corner loops. In fact, let me actually set him to do said guard cancel. You know, I can even tag him back in if I wanted to. That whiff, but hey, you know what? You get the idea. That's rough. That's rough, buddy. And of course, usually off to level 3, there's the cheeky old using the beam to steal corner. Oh, that's not enough meter. Hang on a sec. I mean, you can also spark off of that, and if you have a sparking route for this specific scenario, you can take your opponent pretty close to death, so that's pretty good. It's an idea. It's definitely an idea. I think Vanish is the easier option, or you can just do 6H or the Rolling Hammer by itself, and I'll probably put him close to death anyway. Oh yeah, and also, don't forget the fact that you can influence the direction where you end up, so you can keep same side. So if your opponent knows the matchup, you can actually just stay same side. So yeah, you can really mindfuck with your opponent at times with this. It's really nice. And now for just some cheeky, you know, general mix-up stuff with Cell. These are things you're probably going to want to form a team around, depending. So 5LL has a classic command grab ender. I think we're all familiar with this by now. If you have proper spacing, you can obviously turn this into a wake-up scenario where you can, like, you can approach. If the opponent doesn't know it's a grab, then, you know, scoop them. It's a grab though, so it'll be scaled, but, you know, it's whatever. You can also use Trunks' aces to make this into a true command strike grab mix-up. I don't have that kind of timing, but you can do it, so that's good. Okay, so I can't really illustrate this in training mode because this requires a double reflect, obviously, but if you're this shit, if you can obviously you can adjust this so that way your opponent can't just reflect. Basically, the idea is that you influence the spacing of the shoulder press. Obviously, if I can actually do it. Yeah, so you can make it go short to scare your opponent, and that you're gonna go for the large shoulder press and they do a double reflect and you punish them. Or if they go for a single reflect, you can just go for a second hit and just stay in. Really, you can influence this move a lot to your advantage. I think it's a little too niche to really keep in mind, but it is there. I would invest like maybe 10% brain power to it if you're gonna use it. So yeah, literally all this together is why Cell is fucking terrifying to block. And it's also why you can't just mindlessly reflect everything he does, because he has so many tools to blow you up and so many tools to bait reflects. Like, it's actually kind of asinine. Usually, it's better to just sit there and block Cell and just try to find a way out rather than risking it all with a reflect. But if your opponent is suspecting that you're respecting them, then you can start reflecting. But double reflect is also very dangerous, so play carefully. Okay, so we had our fun with the good section, which is the mix-ups. Now it's time for the not so great section, which is the assists. Oh god, this is where things are gonna get rough. So the assists, he has 3 of them. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't feel like it. Sometimes it feels like the one. But let's go through the properties. So the beam assist, not horrible, like definitely usable. So it's a beam assist, obviously, on all the properties that brings with it. Beats Keen Blast, beats Super Dash, neutral control, good balance of speed and block, stun and hit stun. But unlike a lot of assists, this points downwards. Now, what exactly does this mean? Well, unlike a lot of assists, because of this move's angle, your opponent can't super dash from the sky coming downwards towards you because it covers that option. So that's good. Cell is also up off the ground, so that way it's harder to happy birthday him. You're probably familiar with what that term means. Basically, if you and your assist get struck at the same time because your assist is active, then it's easier for an opponent to kill your assist along with you. However, since Cell is up off the ground, it's far harder for him to be happy birthday, so that's good. Point blank, this is like 41 frames? I think this is just 40. 41, okay, 41. Plus 30 on block, which is pretty much perfectly average for a beam assist. I'm pretty sure they usually cap at this. It does pop the opponent upwards pops them upwards though, so that's really good. And the hit stun is not terrible. It could be higher for a move such as this. I would probably go like maybe 4 or 5 frames higher, but it's still not too bad. Now, because of this property, it's one of the few beams in the game actually that allows an easy combo extension like this, because usually with the horizontal beam assists, they're a lot harder to get combos off of because, you know, your opponent is sent that way rather than, you know, upwards, so you can easily go for like a continuation afterwards like super dash. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Honestly, it's along with like you know UI's own beam and GTA, formerly anyway. Oh boy, I got hit pretty hard. Yeah, it's not that bad. And of course, you can also use it's still fast enough that you can use it to get extensions off of 6Ms. My personal timing is just to literally press forward medium, yeah 6M and the assist at the same time. It shouldn't be horrible. Hopefully the assist will create enough visual noise that it will throw the opponent off from seeing the fact that you're going for a 6M. It's there. You can time it. It's not that bad. It's actually like really super easy all the time. Just press them both at the same time. You're fine. Now, one of the good things is that since I feel like people dunk on this assist more than they should, one of the reasons I see is because it's not completely full screen, but like, dude, FighterZ has never really played at full screen anyway, so the fact that there's just like literally that one tiny area at complete full screen that won't connect, if I'm even a little bit closer, it's gonna land. So I mean, it's pretty good. And now let's talk about the B assist. I think you know where it's going. So, the B assist for Cell, it's the second hit of his auto combo, the shoulder tackle. It's 20 frames point blank, which is pretty fast. Plus 26 on block, which is, yeah. Yep, plus 26. Very tiny horizontal knockback. Look at the knockback. Oh, Jesus. That's, ugh. You can still get the 6M follow-up, though, so that's good. Range is piddly. Like, I have to fish for where it's actually going to land. That whiffed. That whiffed. That finally connected. I think that's less than the lariat on Bardock. That's awful. Honestly, so because of the short range, it's hard to do re-jump combos. It barely hits round start. This might be one of the worst assists in the game. Like, arguably, I think so. I think this might be one of the worst new assists in the game. This doesn't really work at all. Yeah, God, I honestly think that Vegeta B might be better. In fact, we could test that. I mean, Vegeta B at least hits her round start. I mean, I suppose Cells does too. If I can at least have confidence that Vegeta's is actually gonna fucking land. Please a little bit more. Yeah, Vegeta's has a little bit more range. Not like it really matters, but I would keep that knowledge in mind. Now, the only reason you'd probably use the shoulder tackle is if you wanted a fast assist on your team for like easy combo ground extensions, maybe, that don't necessarily need a lot of hits done. Like maybe like something equivalent to hit A. Maybe? I don't know. It's, yeah. And oh, guess what? It doesn't get any better with the C assist. Holy shit. My opinion for C assist has been softening, I will admit. This one, however, is not one of the better ones at all. So, it's the 214 L on the ground. No vertical tracking whatsoever. Like, I think this could probably be a bit obvious, but it doesn't go upwards at all. 35 frame startup, plus 25 on block. It's not even good. I think it does. I heard it does carry the overhead head invoke properties of the actual move itself, but like you're not using this to react to air dashes at all, so that's bad. It's way too slow to matter on that front. But yeah, this across the board, the A assist is the best assist by a fucking country mile. It's the one you're gonna want to use in almost every scenario over the B assist and the C assist especially. The C assist is just not worth the recharge time whatsoever. B assist is too short range. C assist has no special properties. A assist at least still a beam. I mean, it's a little slower than your usual beam, but it's still a neutral tool. Like, it still beats a lot of options. It's actually one of the better ones because cell protection against happy birthdays, and it beats super dashes coming in from a lot of angles. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And it's easy juggle utility. Like, hell, watch this. There we go. That took a little bit of work. But yeah, you can still easily use the B assist as part of a combo string and get some decent results. Like, even if I do something super basic like this, super easy to just jump off of it and just call it a day. It's supremely easy. So yeah, these assists, unfortunately, are part of the reason why you usually want to run Cell on point. The A assist at least makes him a viable mid, so that's like why whenever I'm going for DHG combos and I end up with UI on point and Cell on back, I don't feel like I'm completely destitute because I know that his A assist is still going to service me to a good capacity. But I wouldn't rely on his assist being a good one, you know what I mean? Like, I'd rather have anyone else be mid. I say as I currently have always the same assist in UI B, so whatever. Okay, time for the fun bit with team synergy. What kind of teams do you want Cell to be on, and who does he want to be paired with? So I have a good assortment of ideas of what you want Cell to be. Imagine the Cell Discord server is going to be pissed with me for some of my choices, but I think these are generally where he wants to be placed. So, Cell is primarily best as a point and can function as a mid. He really wants to be point though, and behind him he wants one of two things. He wants either a frame advantage assist or a beam assist. One of those two. I don't think he wants like a key charge thing behind him or something slow. He wants the frame advantage assist so he can get easy mix-ups off of this, obviously. Lets him nullifies the guard cancel chances, or at least like makes it so you want to use that less. Forces mix. Kuwanger again said that you want an assist that's at least above 30 frames of advantage to make this a real mix-up. So, I mean, it's not too bad. Good and common choices for lockdown assist for him are Bardock B, Gohan B, Yamcha A, Basiku A, GTB, and so on. Also, Kefla B, if you want to go for that route. I don't imagine these two synergize very well together, though. Now, having the beam behind him, I mean, Cell isn't necessarily wanting too much for a beam assist or something to help his neutral, but his neutral still has some blind spots, as in like he can't pepper the screen with a ton of options all at the same time. So with a beam behind him, he's able to approach easier with 2S, which honestly is a pretty good strategy. It's not that bad. If your opponent super dashes against 2S to beat it, the beam will catch them, and that's a combo. This enforces the fact that they have to just sit there and block. And, you know, once 2S is over, you can then keep going, so that's really good. Beams are just good in general, but Cell especially likes it for the approach and lockdown, so yeah. Now for two exceptional ones is Vegeta A and Bardock B. I of course have one of these on my team right now, so I can talk about it. Vegeta A is probably the most iconic assist to have behind Cell, thanks to Fenrich. He's either still currently the best Cell or the former best Cell. Recently, he switched to a team of rats with Team Gohan, Gotenks, and GT Goku. Oof. It catches people in neutral a lot. It also really helps accentuate the fact that Cell is really good at beating super dashes if they try super dash through this. So it's really good bait for that. If it clips them, then you're going to get an easy combo off it. So that's really sick. If they try reflecting to get out of it and then press reflect one too many times, you know, DR City, and you can just sit there and just wait for him to make a mistake. You know, really good stuff. Granted with that, this is kind of fake mix, quote unquote, but it's still pretty good. Like, 52 frames of advantage is nothing to really fucking scoff at, so, you know, I'll take it. Bardock B-Hub, on the other hand, is probably the one you want the most out of a pure lockdown assist. It's obscenely good. It's got monstrous blocks done, hits done, still travels a good amount of the screen. You know, let's actually just attack out a Bardock to make it easier to illustrate. Yeah, look at this. 46 frames of advantage on block. That is pretty good. It also still goes forward a good amount. It's not the full screen teleport it was like before. Holy crap. Bomb hit. It's like, but minus tech roll. Look at that. 50 frames of advantage, 52, 59, probably 60 full frames of advantage. A full second to just do whatever you want. That's fucking nuts. You can even side switch probably. I think you can side switch after that, yeah. That's really good. On top of it still having really good DHC synergy. Like, this is still pretty good. There's a lot of combinations with these two. I don't know how to use Bardock, but I've seen people do some shit with them. So, I mean, yeah, pretty good. So now, as a mid, Cell does function decently well because of the good A assist. Ironically, he's actually a pretty good pick behind Teen Gohan. I've seen a lot of people actually use like Teen Gohan point, Cell mid. And they can make it work. Like, it's not that bad in terms of what you can do with them. On top of the fact that, you know, Teen Gohan just likes beams in general behind him, so it's always pretty good. Cell's A assist also just encourages, like, good combo game neutral approach. So, like, any character in front of him will get a good boost. Like, maybe Vegeta, Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, Teen Gohan, Base Vegeta. Base Vegeta doesn't really need it, but he wouldn't mind it. And, of course, below this is a frequent Cell teams that I've seen either professionals use or use online. Cell A, and of course this is in order of, you know, anchor, mid, and point, mid, and anchor. That's what I meant to say. Okay, so point, Cell A, Bardock B, and then Super Saiyan 1 Vegeta A. That's like the original Fenrich team before GT came out, and then after that you have Cell A, GTA or B, and then Super Saiyan 1 Vegeta. GTA got hugely nerfed, probably for the better, but I mean, GTB is still really good for a lockdown. That was the core Fenrich team for a long time. And then you have Cell A, Broly A, and Base Q A. I've seen that team before. I don't remember who I've seen it before. I think they might have been in Cloud 805's tournaments. But that's a pretty good Cell by itself. I just said that. But that's a pretty good team. Broly A for a really good neutral with the slow approaching assist, obviously because of this. Oh yeah, I forgot I had this team active. And Base Q because of the really good assist. Like, it tossed out Blaster Shell and it's scary as fuck. This actually, personal note, this assist is terrifying. I get caught so much by it against good players. Anyway, and then from there, there's varying characters and they can put on teams with Cell in different orders, like Z Broly, Base Q, Super Saiyan 1 Goku, Super Saiyan 1 Vegeta, Teen Gohan, Gotenks, Kid Buu 21, and so on. Those are generally like a lot of characters I see that get paired with them. So, you know, make some matches you will. Wow, either I'm blazing through this really quickly, or does I managed to covering less than I thought I would for the Gogeta guide. But hour 23 minutes for my recording, and we're already to the combos. Okay, cool, combos. Again, disclaimer, I suck at doing TODs with them, so if you want better consultation for those, there's a lot of people you can follow. I recommend Rooflemonger, Kuwanger, dekillsage. Back when dekillsage made fighters content, oof. But, you know, details. So, the combos are very flexible. Cell has a lot of tools, but they also have weird variables. Like, for example, like I've shown with the height dependencies. Actually, I can kind of show this. So as you saw there, I'm not sure if it's because I dropped an input or not, but the medium rolling hammer did not quite connect. It's really weird. The jumping 236M will just randomly drop sometimes, so because of high dependency, so you want to switch to the light version. Just, yeah, it's weird. Also, a lot of combo routes he has. Okay, I need to get this out of the way right now. Cell's optimal combos require like a good, sometimes a barrier, like execution barrier. Sometimes pretty tight, not too horrible, but it can be tricky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give one hard combo and one easy combo for each of these variables that you're going to see. So, main bread and butter combo is this. Now it's only really weird because you have to remember that you're going to do light to give yourself enough height for medium, light, heavy, which spikes into the ground. It is almost full screen, by the way. I should mention that a lot of its combos go almost full screen. An easier version of that is one I actually use a lot. It's only like 100 less damage, but it's a lot more consistent, I feel. So if you're not fully confident in your cell execution, I would just go for this. It's what I use online. If I were playing offline, I would probably use the hard version more, but it's whatever. Now you have meter burn open field. Let's see what this entails. So what that does is you use the jump 2M to carry them to the ground, vanish, and then you run up and do rolling hammer and get them over here. Almost full screen, but it's a little tricky. So I'm going to show you the easier ender instead. It doesn't give you sliding knockdown, but it does give you about 300 more damage, so it's not horrible. Also, ending with this allows you to go for instant overhead air dashes, so it's not bad. It's something you can work with. And now, of course, going to more stuff, here's Vanish. So those are decent options. The micro dash into this can be a little bit tight and a little bit finicky. You'll probably drop this a few times, so I'll give you the easier option I usually use. I usually go for this. This also lets you freely side switch as you please. I think it's already in my notes though, so you know, fine enough. Now if you were starting mid-screen, this is what you generally want to go for. Oops. Yeah, so if you start exactly mid-screen, you can go for this ender, which will give sliding knockdown in the corner. The jump 2H will give you enough reach to generally allow you to go for this pretty consistently. Like I already said before, that Cell is pretty consistent at getting coast-to-coast combos, so this definitely puts that little cherry on top. Okay, time for wall loops. Simple enough. Usually for the wall loops, you're just going to be pressing the light button at very easy timings. I've done wall loops with Gohan and Blue Goku. Cells is by far the very much easiest. There's no like just frames or anything. You can just literally mash it and you're fine. Now you can do 3 reps. I haven't gotten this to work before. Or maybe that's exactly how you do it. Fuck me. Okay, I just cut some of the inputs out, but yeah, that gave me a little more damage. For online, I just stick to what I usually do, which is medium, light, S, and just go from there. It's still a really good meter build, and it still gives you SKD, so it's whatever, but you can push it a little bit higher if you wish. And again, I'm just mashing the fuck out of the light button. And it still gave me a pretty good result. If you go for medium, light, jump, light, it will be too many hits for the corner and the combo will drop. And just make sure about that. Or maybe I'm fucking wrong and you can go for it anyway. Okay, well I guess you want to go for that version instead. Screw it. If you're playing offline, go for that. If you're playing online, maybe cut it 1 rep short, because then if you're going for extensions with your assists, it's going to be a lot easier to just go for that. So yeah. Okay, so here's a very frequent scenario you'll find yourself in. Post vanish after your beam. That does work, but it's incredibly height dependent, so remember you do have access to just doing super dash afterwards. So maybe this might be an easier option for you, depending on how high up you do the vanish. That'll depend if you want to like go for just like super dash or not. Really, it's up to your judgment usually. Like that's already a fuck up. But yeah, the jumping special does have a hitbox like right in front of it where Cell like swings his hand. It's not frequently a factor outside like the wall loop, so you know it's whatever. But it can be a way for some stylish combos. If I were better at this video game, I might go for this more often, but I do not. And then again, you can use the various beam vanishes that I did earlier for easier conversions. And again, this is where I would give you a TOD, but I don't have any, so consult Rooflemonger, Kuwanger, TinyTorgue, dekillsage doesn't have any. But consult those 3 if you want death combos. But yeah, alright guys, hope you took away a thing or two from this guide. I am honestly surprised this didn't come out anywhere near as long as I was expecting it to be. I was expecting this to be 2 hours. This didn't even come out to 1 hour 30 in recording, so that's honestly kind of amazing. Alright, hope you enjoyed. Go out there and fuck some people up. And yes, you will frequently catch people with his stagger options in lower ranks. It's really, really good. But yeah, take care. Later.